You told me the truth that you cheated.
When I slept with his cousin. So
He has 2 other kids outside of our relationship.
So you're saying the baby was born early.
She had a DNA test with another guy.
He was not there for me.
You had sex with somebody else.
I'm gonna have to do this by myself.
I don't want my child to grow up and be like, oh, where's my daddy?
Up and be the man, the best man.
You made it unbearable for me at the house.
Unbelievable paternity court outburst that shocked everyone. I hope you guys are ready to get your minds blown because this case would most definitely leave you speechless. Trust me, you're for sure not ready for the insane outbursts that are about to go down in this courtroom. Now, Mr. Pearson had a heavy amount of doubts as to who the father of the baby was. Oh, trust me, he wasn't wrong to have doubts. Apparently, Ms. Gray, who happened to be his girlfriend, had an intimate relationship with his cousin. I told you it was going to be an intense case. Well, let's dive right into it, shall we?
Ms. Gray, you say the defendant, Mr. Pearson, has ripped your family apart because of his denial that he is your 10-month-old daughter, Kamaya's dad. You say he never denied your 2 oldest kids, but refuses to believe he is the biological dad of baby Kamaya, your youngest. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jumping straight into the drama between Mr. Pearson and Ms. Gray. These 2 never really looked like they were cute lovebirds. They already had 2 children before this kid in question, but something just wasn't right with their relationship. When you say someone was tired of how the situation of things was playing out, trust me, Mr. Pearson was a perfect example. Ms. Gray was heartbroken by the whole situation and wished Mr. Pearson would love her child like the others. Was he going to do that? Oh, hell no.
You have 2 older children together,
Yes, Your Honor.
but he does not pay Kamaya any mind.
No, Your Honor.
What are your hopes for today, really?
I just want him to be a part of her life. Granted, I would love to have my family all together because that's what I really came here for. I just want him to treat her the way he treats the other ones. He treats them way more better than he treats her. He buys them things, he don't buy her nothing.
Tears started to roll down her face as she talked about how hurt she was. That didn't make Mr. Pearson flinch one bit. He felt so betrayed, and all that mattered to him was to find out who the real father of the child was. Talk about a man on a mission. When he was asked why he had doubts about the child, he dropped the truth bomb in the courtroom. Boom! She slept with my cousin. Yup, you heard that right. Those were the words that jumped out of his mouth.
That something's going on? Or is
No.
it just because you know and you see the difference?
I know and I see the difference.
Mr. Pearson, why do you doubt Kamaya is your child?
She slept with my cousin, Your Honor.
What?
Exactly what?
How did you find that out?
Being of the fact that he was at my house while I was leaving to go to work, and I just left it be. I didn't question it. You know, I thought I could have more trust in my cousin. And we moved in with them.
The story is about to get a new mix, and things are about to go haywire. After Mr. Pearson outburst, Ms. Gray was asked if she actually did sleep with Mr. Pearson's cousin. Guess what? She didn't deny it. She actually did sleep with his cousin, and her reason was even for doing it was out of this world. She claimed that she did it to get revenge on Mr. Pearson for sleeping with his cousin's girlfriend. Yo, these guys should definitely see a therapist.
Ms. Gray, did you sleep with his cousin?
Yes, I did. It was revengeful because he left me in North Carolina when I was pregnant with our son DeMonte to go be with his cousin's ex-girlfriend. Not only that, they have a kid together. So yes, I slept with his cousin several times too because it was revengeful.
Now the truth come out.
Mr. Pearson,
You
you
did it
were
more
never
than
told
once.
it happened more than once?
Actually, he the one that told me.
The courtroom was getting very intense with both Ms. Gray and Mr. Pearson, trying to defend their sides of the story. But the truth bombs were still coming, and this time around they were coming even hotter. Ms. Gray apparently slept with Mr. Pearson's cousin while she was already carrying his Mr. Pearson's baby in her womb. I mean, wasn't she thinking about the consequences? Why would you do something like that?
Ms. Gray, did you ever tell the cousin you were pregnant too?
I was already pregnant when I slept with his cousin. So there's no way that that's his cousin's baby, but he's too dumb to realize science. But
So let me ask you this. Have you ever told the cousin that he potentially could be Kamaya's father?
no, I told him that he wasn't the father, and he insisted to me that he was the father.
I guess it's about damn time we hear from this cousin that stirred up so much drama between Ms. Gray and Mr. Pearson. The things that came out of his mouth would make your jaws drop. He claimed he was aware of her pregnancy before sleeping with her. You slept with a pregnant woman? Wow. Aside from that, he also believed there was a chance he could be the father of the child. At this point, nothing surprises me anymore.
And Mr. Pearson, your cousin, has indicated that he is aware that you were sleeping with Ms. Gray. Are these things true?
Yes, Your Honor. I was aware that she was pregnant. As being who the father was, neither one of us knew. because at that time, she did tell me that she was pregnant, but the time frame between when she had the baby.
When it came to accepting responsibility for the child, both Mr. Pearson and his cousin started to play the blame game. They both started to deny the kid, saying they both couldn't have fathered the child. Ms. Gray got tired of hearing the rant and then told them to go and get a DNA test done since they both didn't want to own up to being the father. Fair enough if you ask me.
He said, before we even had sexual intercourse, he said, "You're pregnant, right?" And I said, "Yeah." Then we had sexual intercourse. When I had my child, neither one of them two came up there to see her.
Nope.
He told me to send a picture of her. That's when he started denying her. I constantly tell Mr. Pearson, right here, that he is the father.
Well, it's finally time to unveil the truth after so many lies and deceptions. The day of reckoning is finally here, with everyone itching to know the truth. Are you ready to find out? I bet you are. So take a deep breath, because here it comes.
Whether Mr. Alexander Pearson or Mr. Theodore Pearson is the father of 10-month-old Kamaya Pearson, the biological father is Mr. Theodore Pearson.
I'm ready to be with my daughter now.
Good. So listen, you all got to figure out how to have real relationships. And that requires a level of maturity that you may not possess, but now that you have all of these children, we got to grow up.
Talk about people looking furious. Ms. White looked like a lion that had not been fed for a long time. She was ready to fight and beat up anyone who stood in her way. She wanted her on-again of again boyfriend of 7 years to step up and start putting effort into taking care of her child, as she believed he was the father. The boyfriend in question believed she was delusional and could not be the father. This was one hell of a case.
Ms. White, you are furious that your on-again, off-again boyfriend of 7.5 years got you pregnant and refuses to do anything for your daughter. You say he better step up and be a daddy when today's results prove what you have always known, that he is Michaela's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You could see the pain and hurt in her eyes as she talked about why the results were so important to her. She didn't want her child growing up not knowing who the father was. Trust me, I doubt any mother would want that for their kid. Ms. White was very overwhelmed in that courtroom. An outburst of tears is honestly how you would describe the situation.
So Ms. White, tell us why today's results are so important.
Today's result is important to me, Your Honor, because I grew up without my father. My father was deceased when my mom was pregnant with me, so I don't want my daughter to grow up without her father any longer. It's hard taking care of her by myself, and I need help.
And I can see right now you are overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed because I've been through too much by myself, and it's like...
Mr. Hawley didn't care about how teary she was in the courtroom, all right. He was still firm on his decision to deny the baby. He never for once made any attempts to pay the child or the mother a visit. Mr. White believed they were in a committed relationship, but Mr. Hawley felt differently. He couldn't even remember the number of times they were intimate with each other. Looks like he really wasn't looking for a long-term relationship, if you ask me.
You did not feel like you and Ms. White were in a committed relationship?
No,
she was
because
just staying at your house.
we was cool for a minute, but then, we might be cool 2 days. And then for 2 weeks, she on some trip junk, so I wasn't on pressure.
So when you say cool for 2 days, does that mean you were still being intimate for those 2 days?
No, I wouldn't be there. Now, I might come in on a Wednesday, we might be intimate one week out of maybe a month that I'm gone.
Ms. White eventually agreed that their relationship was definitely not a bed of roses. There were times where they wouldn't even speak to each other for over 2 weeks. Who goes that long without talking to someone they love? Well, I guess they could. She then proceeds to drop a truth bomb in the courtroom. She says she got intimate with someone else, while she and Mr. White were on bad terms. Little sneaky, Ms. White.
You had sex with somebody else.
Yes, ma'am. And at that time, I didn't think I could get pregnant, so I wasn't thinking of pregnancy. So the moment I found out I was pregnant, I immediately called Mr. Hawley because I was with him more than anything. I messed up one time, but the whole time we were together, we were
So, Mr. Hawley, I want to know your testimony about finding out Ms. White was pregnant.
Apparently, it looked like Ms. White was telling the whole truth. Mr. Hawley had some truth bombs of his own he wanted to drop in the courtroom. Trust me, they weren't nice at all. When Ms. White found out she was pregnant, she immediately told Mr. Hawley. But here is where things get really tricky. That wasn't her first rodeo of claiming she was pregnant when in fact she actually wasn't. Wow, now I see why Mr. White said she was delusional.
How did you find out?
First of all, Yana, she had done already cried wolf before. I'm pregnant. She done did this on 2 different occasions. I'm pregnant and she wasn't pregnant. Okay, so this last time, which was probably some months or maybe a year later, she did it again. I'm pregnant. And this time she actually was pregnant, but she had been telling me for like maybe 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, whatever, okay, whatever, you pregnant. I'm finna hit the road, I'm finna go. So when she told me again the last time, I was like, you know what?
Ms. White claimed she told Mr. Hawley she was pregnant, but as soon as he confirmed it was true, he wanted nothing to do with the baby. From that moment, she knew she was going to have to take care of the baby by herself. Oh, trust me, she didn't just stop there. She also said the reason he denied the baby was that he had a new girlfriend and he didn't want anything to mess that up. I do not even know what to believe at this point.
So Holly told me, okay, if that is my baby, you can't be calling me every day because I'm in a relationship and my girl won't be having that. And I was like, what?
So you admittedly have not had any relationship with Michaela, the baby, for the past 2 years.
I ain't never seen her. I seen her on a picture.
And you have moved on with your life because you are certain that she is not your biological
That's
child.
right, that's right.
Mr. Hawley hopped on the train of doubts and wanted to list reasons why he believed he couldn't be the father of the child. The first thing he said would make you laugh off your pants. He said the baby had no similar features that resembled him, and therefore the child couldn't most certainly not be his. Does every child have to look like their dad before we believe that the father? Come on, Mr. Hawley, come on.
That baby have none of my features. All my other kids have my features. The big gums, the arch eyebrows, the dark skin, all my kids do.
Although physical appearance can be an indicator, we know in this courtroom that it is not proof positive.
I always hear you say that. That's why I say it might be a possibility that it's my baby, and if it is...
The stakes were high for both Mr. Hawley and Ms. White. Let's hope Ms. White gets to have the help she desperately needs to take care of her child. I guess this is what we've been waiting for. Let's hear the truth.
Mr. Hawley, you are the father.
Right, exactly. So yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Parker. You were sincerely hoping this was your child?
I would too.
That's why I can't.
I ain't gonna lie either. I was too. Hold on. Since we not lying, I was too. And you know why I was?
Get ready, paternity folks. I hope you guys are in for a surprise because the things that happened in this case would definitely shock you guys. Ms. England had been with Mr. Kaiser for a whole 6 years. She claimed he was denying her 6-month-old son after already having a baby for him. Mr. Kaiser, on the other hand, believed he was the father of one child and the other child had a different father.
Ms. England, you say that you and Mr. Kaiser have been together for 6 years, have a 3-year-old son together, but claim he's now denying your 6-month-old son Isaac, and you're here to prove that he is the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kaiser, you acknowledge one child with Ms. England, but say Isaac is not yours. You say that during your separation from Ms. England, she slept with another man, and you are 100% sure.
Ms. England started by saying she is the reason Mr. Kaiser is the man he is today. They had basically been through everything together, but what she wasn't happy about was the fact that he wasn't supportive at all. We're about to find out if that's true.
So, Ms. England, why is Mr. Kaiser accepting one child but not the other?
We've been through everything. I've supported him, I've took care of him, I've turned him into the man he is. You know, I took him from ashy to classy, and he's not supportive at all of it, and he wants to say that it's not his.
I've always been classy.
Now, that can be debated.
Okay.
Y'all, she knows why I denied the baby. She stayed gone for 3 months with this other man.
Did you move in with another man,
Yes,
Ms.
Your Honor.
England?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
She had had enough of Mr. Kaiser, trust me. He was giving her so much headache, it was as if she became a slave in their relationship. Everything they did together had to be debated first before it could get done. At this point, if the paternity issues don't get sorted out, she's willing to walk away from the relationship. Talk about someone being upset. Miss England was quite a pissin'.
And then during the split,
Isaac was conceived.
all right, and so basically your relationship is completely on the brink. Like the stakes are high.
If it doesn't get solved today, it's over. I can't do it anymore. It's done.
Because it's that stressful.
It's that everything is an argument. If we're talking about what's for dinner, peanut butter and jelly, fries, burgers, everything is, that's not my baby.
Mr. Kaiser was hell-bent on the truth that Ms. England was definitely cheating on him. He even claimed she got pregnant for the man she was cheating with, and there was no way in this world he was going to take care of another man's baby. Trust me, it was a battle between these two people.
Your Honor,
I didn't think it was my child. I always thought it was the other man's child. I can't take care of another man's baby, y'all. Especially the man she was cheating on me with.
I was not cheating. I never wanted
She said she wasn't cheating on me, right? But she had the other man's phone number long before she moved out, and she was still staying in my house.
How is it his house and I'm working 12 hours a day to take care of the bills for that house?
I paid the
I was
rent.
working the graveyard shift. He was supposed to be home taking care of the kids.
Oh, trust me, she didn't deny there was another man in the picture. She claimed Mr. Kaiser wasn't always looking for an opportunity to fight with her rather than take care of the kids. What did she do about the situation? She entertained another man's company, just because he was giving her all the attention she needed.
And instead of this man right here taking care of me and hugging me and telling me everything would be okay, he started a fight and left.
But y'all,
He left. He wasn't there. The other man is the one who was texting my phone saying, "Are you okay?"
Why was he texting your phone? How you have your phone number?
Why weren't you taking care of me?
We was arguing all the time during that time.
Exactly.
You all still arguing now. I can't even get a word in.
One thing she was certain of was that she knew for a fact that the other man couldn't be the father of her child. She wasn't just saying so everyone would believe her. She had proof to back up her claim. Trust me, she came prepared. The argument of the window of conception popped, and she defended herself pretty well.
Ryan, can I see that evidence, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, on the 25th of March is the last time I had been sexual with the other man.
On the 25th of March,
Yes.
you were
But
intimate
y'all-
with the other guy.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep going.
Okay. On the 28th, me and Mr. Kaiser, we got back together. I came back to where he was at with our children. We had unprotected sex on the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st. And my conception date is the 30th of March.
Mr. Kaiser wasn't buying any of that one bit. He said her calculations about the window of conception of the baby in question were totally wrong. In his mind, she had falsified the dates, so I would fit her narrative. At this point, I honestly wonder who's telling the truth.
Y'all, the reason why I'm not buying this, y'all, is because she left with the other guy on the 3rd.
I did
She
not
wasn't
have
pregnant.
intercourse with
She
that man
can't-
anymore.
she can't- We slept together from the 28th until the 31st, right?
No,
she,
to the 1st.
She left on the 30th with the other guy, right? For 2 weeks.
On April 3rd?
She was pregnant on the 15th. So how do I know it's not the other guy's baby?
Well,
Oh, you're saying she went back
She
to the
left
other
on
guy?
the 3rd. She left on the 3rd and went back to the other guy on the 3rd.
Oh, the tension was building as the court got ready to unveil the truth about Mr. England's paternity. Ms. England's desire to save her relationship and Mr. Kaiser's doubt collided as the revelation was about to unfold. Let's see whether the daddy gets to hear those 4 words or not.
Mr. Kaiser, you are not the father.
Are you sure?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaiser.
You sure? Are you
I'm
sure?
so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's gotta be a mistake, right? It's a mistake, right?
I am so sorry, but it is not a mistake. You are not baby Isaac's
but he
biological
can be his father. It doesn't matter if DNA or not. He can be that boy's father.
Ms. Baylor wanted nothing other than to prove to the courtroom that Mr. Earls was the biological father of her kids. Mr. Earls wasn't riding the same boat. He had doubts about the baby in question. The doubts were so bad that he had to call off their wedding 3 months before they were to be married. I bet you're itching to find out where it all went wrong. Well, so am I.
Ms. Baylor, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test. You want to prove to your ex-fiance, Mr. Earls, that he fathered your 3-year-old son, Marcus Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Earls called off your wedding just 3 months prior to getting married because of his paternity doubts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Earls, you and Ms. Baylor have been together since you were 17 years old.
Their relationship was far from being perfect. Due to the accusations Mr. Earls was throwing her way, it brought nothing but ruin to their love life, at least so she claimed. All she wanted to do was prove that he was the father of her child so they could get married. It was a long shot for her, and everything was hanging on the line. How did she find herself in this mess to start with?
Your Honor, his accusations have ruined our relationship. It has tore us apart. We've been together since I was 17, and he moved in with us, and then we had 2 beautiful daughters. And then after our 3rd child, we decided that we wanted to get married. And he called off the wedding 3 months before we got married.
Really?
And we planned everything. I had everything picked out, Your Honor. I had the dress. He bought me a ring, everything.
Well, it was time to hear why Mr. Earls had so much doubt about being the biological father of the child. Trust me, he had quite a lot to say about Ms. Baylor. Looks like she was the perfect saint she was painting herself to be. The truth always comes out, Ms. Baylor. It always comes out.
I went away on August 16th, and Sandra came and visited me 2 weeks after I was gone. And she gave me some news that she was pregnant. Okay, I was excited. Come to find out, a week later, she visited me again. And she tells me, I stepped out on you a month prior to the time you had left.
A month before I got pregnant with my son, I did step out on the relationship, I did.
Thankfully, she was bold enough to face Mr. Earls with the truth. Apparently, she stepped out of the relationship while they were together and got intimate with another guy. Mr. Earls didn't believe the child was his because the window of conception and the period the child was born just didn't add up in his head. I mean, would you blame him? I wouldn't believe the child was mine either.
Ms. Baylor, you're saying the baby was born early, and so your conception date would actually have been later than what is projected here.
Yes.
Mr. Earl, do you think the baby was born early?
No, that baby wasn't born early. She carried that baby full time.
That is not true.
You don't know no baby premature 6 pound 9 ounces. I don't. That's a big baby.
I do agree. A 6 pound 9 ounce baby.
The skeleton in their cupboards started to pop out, and trust me, there were a lot of secrets that were waiting to be revealed. Mr. Earls was no saint either. He also went outside of their relationship and got intimate with another woman. To make matters worse, he even had 2 other kids outside of their relationship. Is this a conquest for who cheats the most? Because what's going on here?
So this was a one night thing, a fling. What happened?
It was a fling maybe, but not that long, just a couple of times, and like that was it.
A couple too many.
But I used protection when I stepped out. Unlike him, he has 2 other kids outside of our relationship that he stepped out on me on plenty of times.
I do.
Mr. Earls had more accusations up his sleeve. He claimed while he was away, his brother told him that Ms. Baylor had been doing some fishy businesses with other men. By fishy business, he meant she did a lot of flirting. I honestly doubt she had plans of wanting to get married. Trust me.
My brother also even told me about some things.
What did your brother tell you?
Oh, my brother done told me he done called her doing mysterious things on her phone, talking to others, talking about she want to meet up with him and things.
We have your brother joining us today from your hometown.
That's good.
Mr. Earls, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Your brother has testified that you've caught Ms. Baylor in some very questionable circumstances. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's finally time to unveil the truth after so many lies and deceptions. The day of reckoning is finally here, with everyone itching to know the truth. Are you ready to find out? I bet you are. So take a deep breath, because here it comes.
Mr. Earl, you are the father.
I told you.
I had my doubts, had my insecurity, but I do love that little man.
And I'm sure he loves you too. You're the only man he knows as his father?
The only one.
And does it hurt you in this moment that you did carry that doubt for 3 full years of his life?
Yeah, that's what's killing me right now. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to you too.
I'm sorry too.
This is a time for you to stand up and be the man, the best man you can be.